of Orchestra, Northern Arizona. What's the spirit of a community orchestra? What are the challenges and creative solutions to performing? Tonight, on Live from the Theater Basement.
Coming to Flagstaff in 2023, the Dark Sky Arts and Idea Festival. Dozens of arts leaders throughout Flagstaff are planning for the city's largest collaborative arts festival. If you're a leader in the arts of Flagstaff, you're welcome to join the planning. Dark Sky Arts and Ideas Festival, coming in 2023.
I'm your host, Chris Verrill. Tonight's correspondent is Jamie Hassapis. Jamie will interview the conductor and artistic director, Desmond Sue, of Orchestra, Northern Arizona, here on Live from the Theater Basement.
Thanks, Chris. And welcome, Desmond.
Thank you, Jamie. Great to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here tonight. You are, the director and conductor, artistic director and conductor of the ONA, or the Orchestra in Northern Arizona. And it's a community orchestra. And one of the things that people may not know is, do they have to audition for a community orchestra?
Not ONA. There are some community orchestras that audition to kind of get to know you and seat you, but at ONA, everyone is welcome to come and play. The only exception is the woodwind section, because the amount of woodwinds are very notated. It's notated very well in the score, and we could always use more or less, and it just all depends on whatever the work we choose to perform for that series.
Okay. Yeah, because I know there are a lot of people in the community that are wondering, and I know people who have been in other communities with community orchestras. I know I got one of my early starts playing with the community orchestra in Sacramento when I was 17, and it was quite a learning experience for me. So speaking of that, before we get into the larger group, we do have the youth orchestra that Joe Karam directs, correct?
Yes. The plan before everything happened with COVID-19 was to kind of reinvigorate and restart the youth orchestra, Northern Arizona. But all of our efforts kind of have come to a halt since we can't do any reaching out or getting any interest at all with COVID-19 and a lot of health restrictions and regulations. Can't go out and reach out to communities to get them.
Yeah, and with that orchestra, the youth orchestra, those it's what started about 5 years ago? I'm trying to remember here in town.
Yeah.
I know.
Yona started when I was an assistant conductor, and I think that is 5 years ago. And the plan was to bring it back to kind of give Flagstaff and students this full orchestra experience as an extracurricular. But we'll just have to see what happens during this next season and so forth.
Yeah. Now with the Orchestra in Northern Arizona, I know with COVID, it's been very difficult for you guys. I believe you did do one performance that I'm aware of, and that I actually watched, and that was with during the holiday season, along with the community band and the master chorale. How did that go? Because we're using a lot of different technology as well.
Yeah. I actually came around to Flagstaff for about a week and a half before Thanksgiving and kind of helped all the groups record their music and make sure that the mics are okay, the balance is all right, and even help rehearse them. But that's the only performance that ONA has done in terms of music recently. There are a couple of members that do rehearse and play music with themselves, but all of them are within smaller groups. I don't think more than two to four people at a time. We've been having a difficult time trying to get a larger amount of people in a safe space.
Yeah, that is a challenge these days. When you're doing the recording, uh, you're saying you're recording the balance and and all that. What was it like uh, taking all of that information or all of those clips and putting it together so that there is actually a performance?
Yeah. Um, so part of my work as a conductor is creating my own portfolio that seamlessly works back and forth, left and right, with good transitions, making sure all the audio is kind of cued in at the same time. So for me, it's kind of just another day at work. But fortunately, I get to do it for a performance with the members of my orchestra, and even I was part of the crew to kind of put together um, the final product. I guess everyone who was on um, the meeting committee for the holiday concert between the three organizations had a hand in doing that as well.
Okay. Oh, great. I know it's pretty challenging to put all that together and have it make sense and sync everything together. Um, Having had to do that with a high school and middle school choir, that was not fun for the first time learning at the same time. Uh, that, yeah. So, what are your plans for the future? I know, COVID has been a, a a huge challenge and a kind of a roadblock for you. Um, but what are you looking at, or what do you have planned for that future?
Sure. Um, ONA is looking to have to be able to reconvene in late spring. Being in Flagstaff, the weather is just very bipolar and extremely cold. So we're hoping that by late spring we'll be able to hopefully find a place we could rent and rehearse. Whether it's inside with a large amount of space or outside, we're just kind of feeling it out and see how it goes since the situation is getting better. As for in the future, we are going ahead with some plans to program some works in the near future. I think we have a programming committee meeting in March to kind of help decide and see what would be appropriate, or if we have any backup ideas to come for if things don't quite get better by the time October comes around for our first concert.
hmm So yeah, the challenge is that planning and trying to coordinate what you are trying to accomplish with the orchestra. Um, so in the meantime, we got a few minutes left here. Uh, What kind of advice would you give a young conductor coming into to this role? I know you're a young conductor yourself, and how did you get there? What was your roadmap per se?
My roadmap. I'm a violinist by training. I've played violin since the fifth grade, which is quite late for someone pursuing it, I guess, really seriously, trying to be a professional. But I got into conducting at because I got injured in my senior year of college, undergraduate. Um, I took conducting lessons with my teacher, and I kind of just fell into it and kind of fell in love with it. My teacher was willing to, in my undergraduate, willing to give me lessons, and it kind of took off from there. I took a year off to kind of heal and see if this was actually something I wanted to pursue, and I just happened to land at NAU. Um, if I had any advice for young conducting students, it's probably to keep going um, because it's supposed to get easier, I'm told, as you get older. But being the same age as most young conductors, I have really, I guess, yet to experience that.
Oh yeah, um, that is a challenge. I didn't realize that you had a kind of a life-changing event to become a conductor. That's pretty incredible to be able to come over and switch over. I know conducting is challenging. Reading a score all the parts at one time is a challenge, and knowing where you're at. Um,
Yeah.
so, anything else you'd like to add for this evening?
I think that's it. If anyone is interested in playing with ONA or keeping up with everything, please check out our website, orchestrana.org, or even our Facebook page to keep up and updated, to be updated. That's the better term.
To be updated. Okay. So also, people from throughout the region can audition as well. Is that true, or is it just Flagstaff people?
Yeah, well, everyone around the region. We actually don't have an audition process. You're more than welcome to come in, sit down, and play. And if you're in a woodwind section that maybe has too many, it's totally fine to come in and play the first couple of rehearsals to even get a feel for what it's like to be in the orchestra. Then we can add you to a running wait list and see if people are unavailable. We'll then swap in someone on the wait list.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, Desmond, it's been a pleasure speaking with you tonight, and
Thank
having you
you.
as my guest. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, folks, here live from the theater basement.
Are you in crisis? Call the Guidance Center's 24-hour crisis hotline at 877-756-4090. The Guidance Center is a nonprofit community mental health center with locations in Flagstaff and surrounding northern Arizona communities. The Guidance Center. It only takes a moment to get the help you need.
Tonight's correspondent, Jamie Hisapis, with Orchestra Northern Arizona conductor and artistic director Desmond Su. I remember when Desmond and I had a chance to chat a few months ago about music in Northern Arizona and musical theater. Great, inspiring conversation. Hey, listen, we've got a lot of crew it takes to make this show happen. Live from the theater basement, producers Jamie Hisapis and Linda Cetera. Engineer Matt Brewer. Technicians Noah Bessler and Ava Haynes. Associate producers Virginia Brown, John Propster, and Michael Rulon. The crew, it takes a lot of crew to make this show happen. Sam Bradbury, Casey Garcia, Madison Hartz, and Malene LaBerge, Joe Maniglia, Justin Moscow, Jaden Roberts, and Marco Tenkumo. Dramaturgy, Theatrikos Artistic Committee, Play Curation, Northern Arizona Playwriting Showcase, Executive Producer Chris Farrell. Live from the theater basement, streaming live on Sunday evenings at 7:30 p.m. and available wherever you get your podcasts, is a production of Theatrikos Theatre Company in partnership with Northern Arizona Playwriting Showcase and Deuteron Films. Theatrikos Theatre Company, Flagstaff, Arizona, is the theater company of Northern Arizona and the Grand Canyon. Embracing the spirit of Broadway with such happy musicals as the plant-based Little Shop of Horrors, the heartwarming Christmas show Miracle on 34th Street, and, coming your way at the end of March, a community reading of The Crucible. Now, Arthur Miller's The Crucible is a take on McCarthyism, and given today's political climate, this is a wonderful opportunity to sink your teeth into a classic, because who are the actors in this community reading? You. You can be an actor or you can be the audience. Tickets are free. Go ahead and contact us. We'd love to see you. Live from the theater basement, streaming live here with weekly shows alternating between 10-minute award-winning plays and 10-minute interviews like Orchestra of Northern Arizona, is a show that comes to you every week here at 7:30. If you as a listener viewer have input, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at theater@theatrikos.com. Live from the theater basement, streaming live on Sunday evenings at 7:30 p.m. and available wherever you get your podcast, is funded in part by the Flagstaff Arts Council, #Creative Flagstaff, and the Arizona Community Foundation. Additional funding from Arizona Commission on the Arts, Flagstaff 365, BBB revenue from the City of Flagstaff, Calf Country Radio, and patrons of the arts like you. Thanks for joining us on Live from the Theater Basement. This is Theatrikos. Coming up next week on Live from the Theater Basement, it's the award-winning 10-minute play Sports Psychology, written by Doug McLaughlin and directed by Angeli Anderfuren. A guy walks into a bar. Well, you get the idea. Sports Psychology, Sunday, February 28th at 7:30 p.m. and wherever you get your podcasts.